Good morning, Storage World, and welcome to Storage Unlocked. I'm really super excited to have this one to maximize the tenant experience with Mark Cieri and the StorageDefender team. I'm really excited. Let's bring Mark up on stage so we can get this thing rolling. Mark, how you doing, my friend?
Mr. Jim Mooney, how are you?
It's great to see you as always. We connected for about 30 seconds in Florida. We were both running in 45 different directions, so it's always good to see you. Feel like I've known you forever, my friend.
We have. And I mean, I worked with you on the other side when you were obviously leading operations, at your prior organization. But Jim, I'm just so excited to have you join SBOA. We're obviously a huge supporter and sponsor of SBOA. We love this opportunity to share with the community. And I think your operator insights and, all the many years that we've talked together, and I know that you've given to the community, I think it's just going to take SBOA up a notch. So, man, awesome to be a part of it. Thank you for having us here today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, this is an opportunity that fell in my lap, and my wife told me this is the perfect spot for me to be with my abilities and all. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm looking forward to hear what you guys have today. The panel you've assembled, Mark, is some of the industry who's. I mean, I've known them all forever, so I'm looking forward to see what they have to say. So I'm going to step backstage and let you take this thing off. So
you bet, Jim. And I know you're going to be watching closely. I might even see a few comments from you because, Jim, as you know, in a market like we're in now, maximizing the tenant, some call them customers and some even call them guests experience is what it's about in attracting and retaining. And so I do think we have an awesome panel, folks. I think you're in for a good, good chat here. So thanks, Jim. We'll see you in a bit. All right, everybody. So yes, hey, Amanda, how are you? Amanda, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I am Amanda Digaspari. I am CEO and co-founder at Storagely. We help self-storage operators improve their website and improve their online rental experience. I am very excited to be here today. Thanks for having me, Mark.
And I know you care about customer experience, right?
Very much so.
That's why you're on. All right, let's go on next to Jeremy Rollwitz, who sometimes I nickname Hollywood. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, Mark. Good to be here today. Jeremy Rollwitz, Senior Vice President, Rightmove Storage. Here at Rightmove Storage, we're a dynamic third-party management company built around performance. We actually operate through two distinctive platforms. It's going to be your Rightmove Premier. That's going to be your full-service boots-on-the-ground division, and then our Rightmove Remote, which is our tech-driven centralized model. Now, we've intentionally separated these because they're completely different operational animals, and each requires unique strategy to truly maximize performance. So if you're looking to elevate and drive results, we'd love to connect with you.
I love it. That's a commercial. That's the way you should open, man.
Beautiful.
Let's bring on our next and final panelist, Lynn Sykes, from a small, tiny storage company called Storage Asset Management. I'm kidding, Lynn. Why don't you get us up to speed? Who's Storage Asset Management? What's your role?
Also, you're muted.
Reverse.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now you got it.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Lynn Sykes. I'm the Senior VP of Strategic Operations for Storage Asset Management. Some of you might know Storage Asset Management. We're a very large third-party management company, very similar to Jeremy. We're very dynamic too. Here at SAM, we believe in the power of partnership. So we don't just manage properties. We collaborate with our clients who we look at as our partners. We work together to customize solutions, drive success through transparent communication and shared accountability. I'm sure some of you have seen our results. We're about 600 stores strong and still growing today. Been with them for about 10 years, and I'm glad to be here today to sit on this panel.
Well, thank you, Lynn. And the three of you guys, obviously we prepped before, but as I told you guys just before we got on, I'm having it as a mandatory watch. My team is on right now because what these three are bringing together, I think, is super valuable. And why it's valuable is because, look, community, whether you're a SAM, whether you're a Rightmove Storage, or whether you are managing a single facility and you've put half your life savings or all your life savings into a property, right? You need to know, and you're feeling it, the industry is super competitive right now, right? Attracting tenants, not so easy. Managing rates, not so easy, right? So what our panel's going to talk about today, right, is we're going to be ultra uber focused on how we can attract demand and retain demand, and what piece of that is related to maximizing your tenant, customer, or guest experience. Okay. And by the way, like, I like going through it that way because it was, I don't remember who it was. I actually do. It's a guy, David Welsh. He's the guy. I said, hey, we have, how about your tenant experience? He corrected me, Mark. He says, Mark, we don't call them tenants. We call them customers. Then another guy, another time said, okay, how about your customer experience? And they said, Mark, we don't call them customers. We call them guests. I like that our industry is moving up and we actually care. It's not just 3 walls, perhaps chicken wire and a roll-up door. It actually matters. And so with that opening, I would like each of you to briefly share how your organization approaches customer experience. Like, how important is it really? Okay. Jeremy, let's kick it open with you.
Yeah, the customer experience is your differentiator. It really is. I mean, with the bar being set at a higher level, each year and the competitive nature of each market becoming even more competitive, whether it be, rates or whatever the case may be, we've got to be best foot forward. And that customer experience, whether it's in person at the store or online, has to be absolutely perfect. And it has to work without any type of friction.
Lynn, let's kick it over to you.
Yeah, I could echo the same thing that Jeremy said. In today's very competitive environment, we're all, especially now in 2026 and 2025, we're more than ever fighting for the same customer. So you get one shot, right? One shot to really roll out the red carpet and provide an incredible tenant experience. That's for whether they're on your website or whether or not they're walking in your door or calling your phone. So making sure that your tenant experience is flawless and welcoming and engaging is critical to your success today as a self-storage operator.
And let's bookend that, Amanda. Your thoughts on this from a Storagely or a website perspective?
Yeah, I retweet to all of the above. I think that it's really looking at your website as the person that's greeting your customer at the digital doorstep, or like as your digital storefront. So the first impression, whether it is in person, you have a person, when you walk in the door, is the person behind the desk standing up to greet someone, or are they on the phone and are they busy? Pay much attention to that, but also pay equally as much attention, maybe even more, to your digital storefront as well. That experience matters.
Yeah, and if I kind of summarize from you guys and what's at stake, okay? What's at stake, folks? You have a positive experience. You have probably better occupancy, more referrals, less headaches. You're going to get positive reviews. You have a negative customer experience, however that may be, you're going to have churn. You'll have to discount more, probably have to put in more labor, maybe even have negative reviews. So what's at stake? Profitability of your business, right? This is not the time of COVID where occupancies were through the ceiling. We are battling for tenants and retaining tenants. And a big piece of that is customer experience. With that, let's move over to the impacts of technology, right? And we're not going to just hang with technology, right? But it's obviously a big piece of it. When I talk about technology, in the case of security, right? It's like the ring of technology. The different, it used to just be lights and gates, and then it became cameras and AI cameras, and now you're even getting, motion detection, smart unit monitoring, unit access. There's been an evolution of technology, right? We obviously focus on smart units, StorageDefender, but that's just one piece of the tech stack. So, Lynn, tell me about the areas of technology at whether it be remote or managed locations that you're focused on regarding tenant experience with technology.
Right. So with respect to technology, I think that definitely we've talked about others. Think about technology with respect to your website. That's a technology. You really have to have a mobile first design. for the obvious reasons, right? Almost 60% of our tenants or new customers coming in are Gen Zers or millennials. So making sure that, that they can get to you. I think from a remote perspective, and this is just as important as a property that has an office, your signage has to be critical. I mean, there can be no question or no doubt of how to rent a unit, how to make a payment, how to get in touch with you if there's an issue. So I think about from technology, smart units, obviously, they want to know their protection. I think about gates, right? A working gate, not a gate that keeps going down. There's just a ton of technology that's available. Like think about smart locks, not only from an operational efficiency, but for a tenant experience, no losing of keys, use your phone. Just a ton of AI cameras, for example, that give you insight to your properties and let your customers think that, or know that things are secure. And if they're not, that you're going to have access to it and you don't find it out the next day after a customer comes in and sees that their property's been broken into.
No, it's good. It's a good survey too, Lynn, of some different key areas. Jeremy, let me punt it over to you for a sec. Same question about just like, let's take a bird's eye view. We're going to obviously peel the onion back here in a moment, but in your opening, you talked about Rightmove Premier and Rightmove Remote. Go ahead and answer the question about some of those key technologies, but maybe draw some contrast, if you will, or how you think of it between the remote versus the non-remote as well.
Well, I guess first and foremost, prior to launching the remote division, we really had to take a step back and understand that, just because it's remote does not mean the human component is gone or missing. We've just we're just using tech to enhance that. And, a lot of times it's a lot of the little things that make the biggest difference when it comes to making sure the tech works and it works right for your customers. And so when you look at both platforms, while we're using the same tech between the two, the way we use it is a little bit differently. And really that is focused on the customer experience and making sure that, Lynn, like you had mentioned, when you arrive to the property, the signage, we're not looking for the signage. I mean, the signage finds us, right? And so there's a call to action. We can rent right away. All of those are very, very important. And then just to kind of take it to the next level on the remote division, since we are pulling that human component away, on site is to have the live interaction at the fingertips of your phone. So all of those incorporated, really make it a sweet spot for the remote operations to work.
Yeah, and just listening to you, I remember I won't go back to that. It's overused. Bottom line is you're talking about a frictionless experience, right? And by that, I mean, it used to be like contactless rentals, but it's a frictionless rental process, but it's also frictionless access and it's frictionless support, right? It's seamless, right? Whether you're in person with a manager, whether you're on, the different channels. Lynn, is there anything else you want to add just to close that out before we start going the next level down?
No, I think we covered it pretty good.
I have a thought here real quick. I have a customer that actually uses technology. They're all staffed in-person facilities. And I loved the idea that he was using tech or AI cameras as a way to go above and beyond and delight their customers that come to the facility. So like they would recognize that Joe Smith was pulling in and they had a note on his account that he loved orange soda. So they would grab the orange soda and bring it out to him and say, hey, how you doing? How's your mom? All this other stuff. And just kind of use tech, yes, for security and all of these other very important things, but also to go above and beyond to delight too. I thought that
reminds me of a story about like creating a moment for your customers or your guests. There was a company in California I think it was called the Magic Castle or something. I read this book, and it's like a B-rate hotel, but they serve people. If you ask their reviews, they're incredible because when they're at the pool, a butler comes out basically and asks them what kind of popsicle they want, and they get gourmet popsicles served under like this silver dish, and that's what people remember is that wow, right? Kind of like what we do, like we actually welcome people back with StorageDefender in some cases. We don't ask them if it's them, you welcome them. So let's move to the next section. Great ad, Amanda. Multi-channel shift, right? Before we go, Lynn and Jeremy, what percentage of your business, there's 3 channels, right? And don't worry about what's on the screen. I want your answers. This is what we've seen. Online, call center, counter. What levels of your business? What do you guys see as rentals? Do you guys agree with this chart? Shift it up, shift it down. What are you guys seeing? Go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, for what you see on the screen, that pretty much sums up our experience here over at Storage Asset Management.
And Jeremy, same for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty accurate. I mentioned roughly about 50, online is what we're seeing. And then, split between the call center and the counter, the walk-in.
Are you seeing any of these, like it used to be, and maybe it still is, the web keeps getting bigger and bigger? Or are you seeing even like the call center growing bigger and bigger at the expense of counter? Are there any trends there that we should be talking about?
That really, it's not a one size fits all. If you really want to dial down to the market and the facility, I think you can play each end of that. I have seen call center activity increasing, and then the actual call center taking action and renting the unit increasing as well. And so if we continue to give our customers easy ways to reach somebody in the event, somebody's not in the office, if we're at a manned property, or if we are remote, I think we're going to continue to see that number increase. As long as the transaction is seamless, we can get it done quick, and then we give them options, right? And the cool thing is we don't have to change the sales process. The sales process that we always stick to, the assumptive sale, building value, that is always going to be the same, whether you're remote, your call center, you're on the counter, and then, just trying to incorporate that online would be key.
I would agree with Jeremy. And I think about, just in the last 10 years ago, our online rentals were in the teens, 15, 16, 17%. And just with all the improvements with websites, all the improvements with mobile first design. And I think we can all agree that it's just going to get higher and higher, right? So in 10 years, it grew, at least at our company, by over 300%. So I think it just makes sense that we're always looking forward and, embracing our websites and improving our websites, improving our call centers. And when you think again, I know I mentioned this a couple of times, but, in the self-storage demand study, Gen Zs and millennials are the largest percentage of those that are renting units today. So when you think about that, they do their whole life through that mobile device in their hand. So when you consider that, I think we just always have to keep looking forward to how we better those 2 items.
All right. Good segue. Thank you, Lynn.
Mark, one more thing, and I think this is imperative, especially with seeing how much online activity we're getting and how that's consistently rising, is check your websites. Always check your websites and go through that process of rental. Make sure your managers are doing it. We have to know that it works for your customers. You don't want anybody to get hung up.
The 2 of you just gave me a great segue, right? Looking forward, check your websites. Why? Because on that last chart, 45% of rentals go through there. And by the way, there's probably a higher percentage that called the call center because they've gotten information from the website or went into the counter because of the website. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk through one level down each of those channels, starting with the website. So Amanda, obviously that's your forte. What are your non-negotiables for optimizing the online experience for our storage guests?
First of all, yes, Jeremy. You'd be surprised how many people I talk to, or I actually am still surprised how many people I talk to that don't remember the last time they even went through their online rental process to experience it for themselves. If you have not done that ever, or even in the last couple of months, go do that immediately after this. What is that experience like? Because in my perspective, I look at your website a little different. This should not just be a brochure. We've moved on from that phase of life, right? Your website is essentially, it should serve as another manager for you. And it should be a place where anyone can come to find any answer that they need. And just like you would spend a lot of time training an in-person manager to learn the entire process, to understand what your policies are and all of those things, you should be spending the same amount of time or more even making sure that your digital storefront is taken care of, and leveraging tools that are like a chatbot like Swivel or other features like Calculate. We have people don't know what size they need, right? So they come into the store and they say, I need to store these things. Hey, manager, what size would you recommend? Your website should be able to do the same. And value pricing, offering, this is another non-negotiable for me, is whatever your policies are, whatever options you have in person should also be something that you can reflect online. So if you have different bundles or added value that you can provide with different pricing tiers or levels of convenience, or people will pay more for security and they'll pay more for convenience. And if you can talk with your manager and they can see those things that are valuable to you and recommend something that is going to be the best fit for you, your website should do the same. And same with add-ons, right? So just like your manager, it can say like, okay, well, you're storing a bedroom. Here's a mattress protector. Is that the bag thing? Man, you're going to need this many bags. You're going to need this tape. Here you go. The assumptive sale piece. Your website should eventually be able to do those things as well. Anyway, so I'm starting to ramble a little bit there. I think that there are a lot of things that are non-negotiables as it relates to your online experience, and essentially it should be everything that's in store should be possible online. With the added caveat that you also need to make sure that the foundation of your website is built with SEO in mind. SEO, AI search is even more and more important. The schema, the back-end stuff, hyper important. So ask the right questions to make sure that your digital storefront is built on the foundation that it needs to.
Yeah, I like your, the other thing is, you might have mentioned it, but everything you just said can be done and be complicated. Everything you said could be simple, like it is on using Amazon Prime, and very simple to pick and check out seamlessly. So I think that is also part of it. And yeah, I mean, I can attest. We've obviously worked together on things where you've done various ways of positioning StorageDefender, and I think having a way to really drive those ancillary services is really key. Along those lines, Lynn, what are your thoughts on all this? I mean, you guys obviously are deep into it. What are your thoughts on the web experience?
Yeah, again, I'll echo everything that Amanda shared, but again, I'm going to talk about mobile first design for the obvious reasons, right? Real-time pricing transparency, and availability of the unit. And they should be able to do a full online rental quick. It's got to be fast to understand. It's got to be easy to complete. It's got to have a fast checkout. I mean, hey, if I can order groceries on my phone in less than 5 minutes, I should be able to rent a storage unit in less than 5 minutes. And then what's after that is that after the rental, the immediate confirmation and the instructions of what to do next, like how to access the property. I mean, that's critical. One of the things that I think would be helpful, and Jeremy mentioned this too, not only just look at your website, rent a unit on it. Rent a unit on every channel that somebody can rent a unit on and see what the customer experience is. We did that as a group here at SAM, and I'm not happy to share it, but I'll share that we were pretty disappointed, and we had to solve for a lot of things, and had we never gone through that exercise, I'm not sure we would have been able to identify it before a customer brought it to our attention and complained about it. So that's always a good exercise, at least quarterly, for you to experience what a customer is experiencing when they go to rent a unit on any one of the channels where you offer that.
I think this is realness. Thank you for being real. Like, we can go on these panels and be like, everything's perfect and we're perfect, and we can be real. And remember, we're in a market where it's hard, right, Lynn? It's not as easy to attract tenants, and it's also easy to lose them. Right, Jeremy, what would you like to add to this?
Yeah, so with all the traffic we're seeing on the website and the action taken, converting rentals on the website, a lot of cases the customers are not even going to be able to see your facility firsthand until they actually get there after the rental. So, in my opinion, your Google review is your digital curb appeal. Google reviews and your website is your digital curb appeal. So, always make sure you've got real good, crisp, professional photos in place. and tag your reviews onto your website. Make sure those are linked. Google 360 view of the property, where you can essentially take a tour of the property without even being there. So it gives them kind of a taste of the facility, the insides and the out. Drone footage, Josh Huff with Lighthouse Storage Solutions, he does a good job with some of the drone footage for the Class A properties. E-commerce online, like I said, having a strong call to actions on the page. And then, I think that single page checkout, seamless, is going to be, it's going to be key to the frictionless rental process. And I think it's going to really open our eyes to maybe other versions in this single step process.
Is there a, I'm going off script here, but I'll start with you, Amanda. And this isn't a long, just quick question. Is there a resource, or can we create a resource for the community where we have an audit checklist of, like, here's what the best customer experience would be, here's the checklist, and go and score yourself? Give them, like Jeremy and Lynn, you guys gave a lot of stuff, but I'm Joe Smith, I'm Mary Jones, right? And you guys just told me a lot of stuff, right? Is there a way to score that so that I, Mary, and Joe know where to focus, whether it's on my website or changing websites? Is there a tool that can be used?
Yeah, I don't know necessarily a tool, but I've done a few roundtables of a similar topic, and I always give the same homework, which is go check out a unit on your website. How was it?
So secret shop yourself and see if you like it.
Yes, but also I do have a resource I could share that's like, hey, think about these things while you're doing it, and what was your experience? Just kind of a guided walkthrough of your own checkout process, and maybe best practices that you should be aware of. And then compare it to other things. You're a consumer in 2026. What is your online experience for anything else, and how does that compare?
So it's interesting, like in our business, right? A lot of businesses, Lynn, in your business, you guys might hire consultants to get outside in views, right? Maybe, right?
Maybe.
Here's what I would suggest. Have a friend, your friend that's not afraid to hit you between the eyes. Go get an consultant, right? Go get an consultant. Don't just do it yourself, because we might be like, it's good enough. Go find that friend to go rent a unit at your facility, right? Joe and Mary, and let them give it to you straight. And that way it's unfiltered, right? I think sometimes when we do stuff ourselves, we're a little bit more forgiving, maybe less. So I think you can also do that. Amanda, one more thing, and then we got to move on to the other channels, right? This is all about doing it right to get them. But what happens when someone comes to the website and they abandon, they leave? Are there other things that still are there to maximize customer experience, even if they drop off the website?
Yeah, I mean, like Lynn was saying, we're all living off of our devices, right? So if someone's trying to check out a unit on their phone and the baby starts crying, or the dog needs to get let out, or anything could come up in life, and they just kind of bail on the process for whatever reason, your website should, just like any other abandoned cart situation, make sure that you have an opportunity to reach back out to them automatically. Hey, so-and-so, hey, Joe, you were sending out, or you were about to check out this 5x5 unit at this facility. Click this button. It'll take you right back to that page with all that information already filled out. Just finish up that process real quick. But that email should also be going to the store manager, or whoever it is that would be able to reach out and give them a call, or make it even easier for them to finish that rental. It's like what you were saying of how you have such a limited window of like, hey, they're interested.
Yeah.
Right now, let's close it.
That's part of, guys, like, if you think of other services and luxury services, it's the front end, but it's also the follow-up, whether I think that abandonment cart and also those end of service surveys are all important so that we can continue to improve as well. You're never maybe going to get it perfect, so we're continuously going to be improving. With that, let's move to the second channel. Okay. We talked about web. Thank you guys that was really meaty. Let's go over to the non-negotiables for call centers. That was our second, according to how you guys rated it. Lynn, get us started on the non-negotiables for a call center.
Yeah, so for us over here at SAM, obviously having, experienced call agents, most of our call agents come from the field. It's almost a promotion for them. So having somebody, that call agent, who can build the relationship right out of the gate, like clearly identify what type of customer they're speaking with. Is this the customer that is upset and needs a little TLC? Or is this the customer who's like, look, I just need this done in 5 minutes or less? And then, adjusting their sales pitch to the customer that they read, right? Giving pertinent information, making it just clean and crisp and quick. And then for us too, for our call center, we use AI to grade every single call. So every call agent gets an immediate scorecard or grade for every single call, tells them what they did well and what they didn't do or what they need to improve on. And then the other thing we use AI for is it listens for every single call. And if there's any kind of escalation, like a tone changes or a curse word is used or something along those lines, it tags a supervisor or somebody to join the call and hopefully solve it or end the friction or find a solve around it. So that's how we use it here at SAM.
Yeah, you're virtualizing your coaching, right? So, again, Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong, and Jeremy, you're jumping in, but that's not only big company technology. If you're a mom and pop, you could still use that to get an agent coaching yourself.
Absolutely. It certainly saves time. In the past, remember, every one of us would have to click on the recording, listen to it, grade it. It's super time consuming. And so most people didn't spend the time to do it.
Lynn, remind me, what's your close rate at the call centers? I don't know.
I shared that with you yesterday, and then just got an updated report. So it's 73.8%.
Yeah. So that means it's not just a call center. These are like your professional salespeople closing 7 out of 10, right?
Right.
Jeremy, why don't you keep us going? Your view on the sales center.
Yeah. So the sales center, and just to echo Lynn, the property manager or assistant manager, somebody familiar, being boots on the ground, generally is a good fit transitioning into that call center role. Currently, Rightmove, we're about 68, last time I checked a few days ago, percent conversion. And that's an area I would like to improve. And we are going to be able to improve that through, the sales process, knowing how to navigate the system, building urgency, and overcoming the objections. That's going to be key. But we also use, AI through Swivel to handle a lot of the day-to-day tasks. And then what we feel is key, similar to you, Lynn, is evaluation and assessment of these calls, continuous monitoring and coaching of the call center agents.
Got it. Again, I'm off script, but Amanda, you're sitting there quiet. We're talking about call centers. Hey, Mark, I'm on the website guide. No, Amanda, how does the website make it easier for the call centers? How does that play on the customer experience for call centers or even the counter? How does that play in?
Yeah, honestly, I think your website should reduce the need to even call, right? If your website's answering all the questions, if it's acting as the manager that someone can interact with through the AI-powered chat that's integrated with your management software, or the FAQs, or even when they're just navigating through the site, it should be answering questions before people even really know they have them. Like if they're looking at a rent and reserve button, what's the difference? And it should just answer it, right? So theoretically, your website should reduce the cost of call centers, reduce the cost of the time that you're paying humans to interact with the call center too.
Great point. Any other comments as we close this section? Anyone else want to add? Jeremy?
Yeah. You just, bottom line, people, and then you just need to have the tools that have consistency across all the channels. And as long as you have the tools that create the consistency and they work, and you have the people, I believe the process works within itself.
That reminds me, when I go to Chick-fil-A, I always change it, but I'm going to go with Chick-fil-A today, right? If I go to Chick-fil-A in New York City, or I go to Chick-fil-A in Los Angeles or in Dallas, Texas, I expect to get the same Chick-fil-A taste and sandwich with the same sauces. I don't expect to go in there and have, wow, this is a great chef. He really cooks this one really good. And, oh, man, I got a lousy chef in New York. This guy over here, he's kind of in between. I want consistency across the channels, the locations. I don't think we should underestimate that consistency. That's what some of these tools, I think, would you guys agree? Like, that's what some of these tools, Lynn, when you were talking about the coaching, it's like it's helping a consistent approach across different sales agents and managers so that you have more of that consistent experience. That's got to be a big part of it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The use of technology, the use of AI, all of that is to streamline and make sure that our customer experience is the best it could be and be more efficient at it. So that's the whole point of it, right? Of the constant improving. And you can never rest.
Can never rest. Storage never rests. Right. All right. Let's go to the final piece. And I was watching I saw Camille at Nicholson Properties and others. Like, no, the counter channels are top one. Some of them have said, right? So guys, we're just giving you, like Jeremy said, it's not the same in every market. So let us first say managers are absolutely critical. The counter experience in managed locations is absolutely critical, right? Mm-hmm. And so, Lynn, I'm coming back to you.
Yeah.
What are the non-negotiables for the counter?
Yeah. So at the counter at a Amanda office, we have a saying, we have stickers on our phones and our laptops. It's the manager with 3 exclamation points after it. If you're the person you have behind the counter has to be a focused, engaged person who represents that store. If your manager, if you ask the manager, what's the most important thing that you do, and they don't say close a sale, then you've done your employee wrong. Your training's off, right? Most, in my experience, and I visit a lot of stores, most store managers are just, they want to make sure the property is spick and span clean. They want to make sure the restroom's clean. They want to make sure the merchandise is counted. They want to make sure the walkthrough's done. All of that's very, very important. But there's absolutely, and I can't stress this enough, nothing more important than dropping everything you're doing when a lead calls or lead walks through the door, or you get a lead alert from your management software. Unless you have somebody right there in front of you that you're selling to, there's nothing more important than jumping on that lead. I just can't impress upon it enough, and making them understand, again, that there's nothing more important. If I walked into a store and let's say the bathroom was not up to our standards, and I come back out and I say, hey, Miss Manager, the bathroom, it needs a little TLC. And if she said to me, yeah, I know, but I had 6 rentals in a row, I'd turn around and clean the bathroom for her. That's what I want my manager focusing on.
Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd give them a high five, and then I'd go in there and help or go clean the bathroom. Really, I mean, look, what we need to be identifying a customer's pulling up into the parking space and be ready to stand, be ready to get out from behind the counter and greet them. The counter just creates a barrier. If we stay complacent, sitting behind the desk, staring at our computer, the eye contact piece, that's a non-negotiable. Do not answer the phone when you have a customer in front of you. 100% of your attention needs to be with the customer. And then lastly, let the technology do its job. Because at this point, we've already done our checks and balances, right? We have to trust the system. We have to allow the technology to work for us.
Jeremy, I'm going to stay with you. Actually, both you and Lynn, like when you said you guys should rent units online. Well, one of the gifts of StorageDefender, a little less for me now because I have a bigger team, but I used to go out and visit and train nationally, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, guys, when I walk up to a facility and there is that little square thing with the little clock and says, I'll be back in 30 minutes, guys, I'm just speaking blunt. It ticks me off, and I want to use a different word. I've driven out there, and if I'm a paying tenant, and this is about attracting and retaining tenants, whether I have an issue or whether I want to rent and I'm told to come back, right? And I'm not giving any other options, I'm frustrated. Jeremy, what are your thoughts on that?
You shouldn't have to find your signage should find you. And I understand there's frustration because 9 times out of 10, when you see the time on the door, they're not going to be back at 10:30. They'll be back at 10:40 maybe. So look, at the end of the day, we want to be able to rent the space, and we want to be able to give the customer exactly what they want when they want it. And, the website, the call center, everybody needs to work together as a team. So if it is at a manned office and we have the QR code, we need to be able to rent the unit, give the options, and close the deal quickly with the customer so they don't have to wait for the manager to get back to the property.
And Lynn, one other thing that came across my mind, so like, that's like, but, you know, I can't, you know, the person's not there. But another one is like, I move in, maybe I had a great experience, maybe I had a negative experience, right? What are your thoughts on the importance of like follow-up after a move in? Does that play into what Sam does?
I think it's part of the whole tenant experience, right? So you heard me mention earlier that you should, rent a unit and experience that just like a customer would or a tenant would through all of the channels that they're able to rent a unit. Well, it doesn't stop there, right? So after they move in, you should, we call it like Welcome Wednesday. So every Wednesday you call all your new move-ins, and you can do it earlier than that. It could be the next day after you know that they've accessed the unit, and say, hey, so glad to have you as a tenant. How was your experience? Did you have any friction? Did you have any issues getting in? Like, preempt it, right? So one, you can fix the issue if they had one immediately, right? And then you can add that to the list of things that you have to fix. Maybe it's just the hasp wouldn't open as much, right? Or what was very difficult to open, but you can immediately apologize, right? And, maybe set up service or go spray it with a white lithium grease or whatever it is to help that customer. So the experience keeps going on. So I think that's a great practice, right? After the move, to make sure that their move-in experience was flawless. And if it isn't, fix it in the moment.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm just thinking back to what I talked to you, Amanda, like we have the abandonment cart. Follow up. It's the same thing. You had an experience. Maybe someone's upset. It's that lead. It's that follow up is sometimes more important than the initial if you miss it, right? And you can make up the difference. Jeremy, one more for you before we move on to the next section. We have a lot of mom and pops, a lot of independent owners on here. Are there anything special that you'd want to share with them that isn't maybe as tech savvy or anything like that? Like anything else from an experience that you guys have done?
Yeah, so we mentioned it briefly on this webinar, but I would reiterate, and this is free. Put yourself in your customer perspective and go through the entire rental process at your facility. Tenant perspective means a lot. And if you can allow yourself to take a step back and roll through the process and identify areas that you get hung up on, areas of confusion or things that you would like to see differently, we can start making our list for improvement. But that needs to be the first step. And then, like we mentioned earlier on, Amanda, we have different teams, right, that can identify, some hot buttons and some areas for improvement as well, if we want to go that next route. But it's important to go through your own process to identify areas that need improvement.
Yeah, and I think the other one that I think I recall you mentioning was, Lynn, you can comment on it too. I don't know if you guys do it. Just, hey, go old school, grassroots marketing, right? Yeah. You had mentioned something about that, or Lynn, I can't remember which one of you mentioned that.
So that's, and again, it's not a one size fits all. There's different strategies in marketing, but grassroots marketing is imperative. Community involvement, those type of campaigns will give us a competitive edge over the REITs in specific areas if that is a competitor of yours. Things we do and done in the past and things we have scheduled for future, like ice cream socials, blood drives, dog adoptions, things like that to drive people to your property, so we can leave those impressions and hopefully.
Yeah, and it attracts them. They feel good about it.
Right.
Right. So, that plays into our theme. All right, let's move to the next one. It's kind of the final primary section, and then we'll do a rapid close. But guys, this is about maximizing share of wallets, right? Rates are not where they used to be. We can't just rate manage to the ceiling. Heck, you even got, transparency stuff's coming. You got cases in, California now, in New York. But still, our goal as businesses is to maximize share of wallet, to profit, right? And so, Amanda, you've been a little quiet. Let me swing it back to you. What do you guys do there besides just renting a street rate, again, to maximize share of wallet?
Yeah, honestly, your rental should be the baseline, the bare minimum for what people are paying you on a monthly basis. The rental should be just the start of what people pay for through the checkout process on your website too. So leveraging things like value pricing, I mean, to have even if it were something as small as 10%, which is much more than 10%, but even if it were just as small as 10% of people choosing higher than the base tier of value pricing, I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? People are choosing to pay you more. They're seeing the value and they want to pay you more per month for the same unit. And also including things like recommended add-ons or additional services. So this is where getting to know your market or who's renting from your facility. If you have a lot of businesses that rent from a particular facility, maybe in that recommended add-on section that we have, it's a good idea to add unlimited package receiving service for an extra whatever dollars a month. Or again, going back to the whole everyone is more willing to pay for additional security and additional convenience. StorageDefender is a great example of both of those things. And people are always happy to pay more to be able to have things right on their phone and have that access and security. So making sure that the checkout flow that's on your website is not only frictionless and quick, but it also allows for people to self-select to pay you more, right? But it should be a very easy thing for them to do.
Again, it's very Amazonian, right? Like
Amazonian.
I think it was, Lynn, I'm going to swing back to you. And I swear, I think you said this, right? It's
Okay.
like, you don't worry about necessarily competing against you don't benchmark against the local storage companies and from experiences. Like, I think it was you that said, like, you got to compare it to their other familiar experiences, right? Like, for example, Amazon. So anyways, along those lines, what are you doing? What is your emphasis at SAM for maximizing share of wallet?
Yeah, well, I'm going to echo Amanda. We do have value pricing on all of our websites, and it's always amazing to me. So 40% on average, think about this, on average, about 40% of all of our online rentals automatically upgrade to the better or best pricing without anything from us. And sometimes, managing over 600 stores, we run the gamut. We got a lot of first generation, second generation, and then the nice new sexy multi-stories that we manage. And some of those don't offer a lot, but for just an example, our good pricing would be the street rate. Our better pricing would just be closer to an access point, and we get, let's just say 10% more for that. And then the best pricing is closest to an access point, and people choose it, right? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes that's 20% more than the good pricing. So that tells us that people want a choice, right? And so they choose it. So the value pricing for us could be those access points, like I talked about. It could be for our best pricing, we use ingrained maps, and folks could actually choose their unit, which goes over really well too. And then the other things too, like we pay attention to what things like the self-storage demand study are telling us, what people are willing to pay more for. So, as I said earlier, almost 60% of all new rentals in the self-storage industry today are from the millennials and the Gen Zers, who are using it more like truly an extra closet. They're renting or buying smaller homes or renting smaller apartments, and so they truly need it for their daily lives. So they have to access that unit more often. So they want anytime access to their unit where 24/7 access comes. You can charge for that. Or they want visibility into the fact that their unit is safe. So when you think of StorageDefender, right, a smart unit technology that they're willing to pay for, that should be available very easily and quickly on the website for them to choose. And then your website definitely has to define it as, what that item is and how it benefits them. Some of us get tech fees. You might want to just, instead of using tech fees, maybe it's a smart lock fee, right? Where they don't have to worry about keys or anything like that. The lock comes with it. They pay for the lock and the admin fee, and then you get a monthly smart lock fee. I mean, it's endless, but you have
There
to.
is a lot there. And by the way, I just want to go back to something you said. I put numbers to it. If 40% are upgrading, and let's just say the upgrade fee is around $20, maybe it's a little less on a $100 rental, that's $6 to $8 more. That's 6 to 8% more in income you're making, folks. Think about rate increases. Maybe you can't do rate increases, but if you can raise your share of wallet by $6 to $8 per $100 rental, that's big deal. Jeremy, let's move over to you, and we just have to watch the time. We got about 8 minutes left, guys. I want to leave a little bit of time for questions.
Yeah, I'll be quick, and absolutely agree. You know, the value-based pricing is something I've been familiar with for years now, and definitely being able to bundle by, you know, your amenities and location, definitely important. And then identifying your locations, you know, as like a one-stop shop, building value in the location by, you know, is it an Amazon drop-off location, packing and shipping, maybe an iPostal digital mailbox location. Also offering the customers, you know, Wi-Fi throughout, and, you know, some of those creature comforts they would have anywhere else they would go. We want to incorporate that into the storage facility. Reference of security cameras, you know, as you get off the elevators, or, you know, the reference of AI in our camera systems. We're doing that in a lot of the new Class A builds that we're in construction right now, should be completed soon, hopefully. And then just converting them to smart facilities. So all those build value into the rate that we're achieving. And then in incorporation with the grassroots marketing events, we've really seen some good success.
Go to the next slide, Brooke. Yeah. So I think this was, no, go back one, please. Yeah. So next slide. Right there. Thank you. So I think this was covered. I just wanted to anchor this. I think Lynn really, and Jeremy mentioned, people pay for convenience. Lynn talked about granting more for anytime access. I know Jeremy does that too. I know Amanda offers that on her website as an upgrade. And then, of course, we're pretty proud to say smart unit monitoring. People pay for it. Both of these two partners actually do it here. Go to the next slide. Jeremy and Lynn, maybe just take a minute to just make this real in terms of economics, what that looks like. Jeremy, starting with you.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the penetration company-wide roughly is 90%, if not 100, converting to 100% smart facilities. We're looking at averages of $4,000 to $5,000 in revenue per month. And then, you know, 70% of those smart unit renters are actually recommending it to a friend. And so we're seeing not only current properties that maybe we're rolling it out, we're penetrating our current customers, but we're also getting those referrals in addition to the new rentals. So it can really be a good incentive for you if you're looking for that additional revenue source and creating a smart facility environment for your property.
Okay, excellent. All right, we're going to go move to close and see what questions we have. So guys, in 30 seconds, looking ahead, again, 30 seconds. Amanda, what are you the most excited about regarding the improvements in customer experience, whether it be for attracting or retaining? What gets you the most excited looking forward?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, I think, how we can leverage AI even more on, I mean, AI is everywhere, right? How can we leverage AI more so that we can reflect that in-person walk through the assumptive close type of thing through the website experience as well? Right now, it's very much a classic experience for your website to have just a running list of all of the different size units that you have, and nobody knows what size they need. So how can we make that experience just more personal and even more frictionless for people?
Lynn.
Yep, same as Amanda. And then I would just say, you know, how do we leverage AI to continually improve that tenant experience in all of our factions, whether that's in operations, right? Adopting AI technology to make things easier for the store manager so they can truly focus on lead follow-up and closing the sale, how we do that through technology, through our websites, through all of the channels that we do, you know, clearly understanding, you know, how AI can help us even as an operator to look at reports, right? All types of things. I mean, it's super exciting.
And Jeremy,
yeah,
walk it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. I mean, it's the AI, the direction in which it's going to, you know, to to help us, quickly scale the call center and assist with our remote management. Also, with the AI, how that's going to be incorporated even more so in the camera systems and possibly a product called Visual Verify, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, and Joe Jones and Mary Smith, I think I've just changed your names out there. Like, don't get worried about, more AI. There's specific use cases. What are we trying to do with AI? And that's what you're hearing now. It's the leverage or the productivity improvement or the effectiveness of doing those things with AI, right? And so, yeah, just saying AI in itself, we could just put AI in every slide. We're well past that. It's actual use cases. Last question for you guys, right? To Mary Smith and Joe Jones, right? They own a single facility, right? Maybe a couple. Biggest piece of advice on what you want to focus them on in customer experience going forward. One piece of advice as we close. Lynn.
I'm sorry, repeat that question real quick, Mark.
Yeah, biggest piece of advice you want them to walk away with from this whole presentation. Mary Smith, Joe Jones.
Yeah. Biggest piece. So I got two. So it's definitely understanding, making sure your website is poised to capture every intentional rental, and that your on-site team, whether that's a call center or at the counter or any of those channels, clearly understands that the number one goal is to close the sale.
Amanda?
For me, I think the biggest takeaway, other than go to your website and go through all the experiences yourself, right, is make sure you're spending as much time training your website, training your AI tools to be as effective as they can be. What you put in, you get out as far as the amount of time. It's not a set it and forget it thing for your website or for any of your AI tools.
Jeremy?
Yeah, make it easy to do business with. Treat it like a relationship, not a transaction. And then, give the grassroots marketing a shot. Have a tactical approach and, monitor it and make sure you're consistent. And I'd love to hear the success.
Yeah, my piece of advice is, look, we're in a highly competitive market. If you're sub 90, sub 80, and you're wondering what to do, it's not just about price. That's a race to the bottom. Take some of these feedbacks here to create differentiation. And also, if you've got those debt payments clawing at you that you need to make, look at these other ways that the team had shared today to maximize your share of wallet. And with that, let me bring back in Jim Mooney and see if there's any questions from the community. Come on in, Jim.
Wow, Mark, what that hour went by so fast, so informative. I was, making comments and making notes in there. Lynn, you're spot on. 41% online rental upgrades. We had it as well where we were. Upgrading protection plans. We had it where we were. Mark, I will throw out a selfless plug. SBOA has just rolled out SBOA consulting. So anybody needing help, fresh eyes. I was literally just in Norfolk, Virginia this week with Pack Planet, giving an outside perspective on their organization, just so a fresh set of eyes sees it. So
I think you're a pretty good insultant, not just a consultant.
But dude, it was fantastic in here. The question, everyone was commenting on these things. Amanda, your comments about the website doing what it does with the upgrades and all that, and a cart abandoned, that's huge. How many people do that? But more importantly, how many people are tracking these things the right way, that the website and the operators are working together to make sure that they know what they're doing on their websites. It's huge.
Yeah, one other thing I should add, every time I do these, I try to mix it up. Today I have two larger operators, and obviously Amanda, one of the leading website companies. But listen, Mary and Joe, I keep mentioning you, right? If this feels overwhelming, and that's why I bring these people on. Maybe you should just reach out to them for advice, or maybe you want to think about property management so you can capitalize on their proven systems and processes, right? Because just because you're a one-man show, there's tools and there's also companies out there that are prepped to help you compete with the bigger guys, right? The customer needs don't change. Any more questions, any more comments as we're waiting Yeah, any more questions from the community? I don't know that we had. Let's see what we get out there.
I'm scrolling through the chat right now. Don't see a lot of questions. I mean, everybody's hungry right now for Chick-fil-A, I think, Mark. So I think we all got to go to Chick-fil-A for lunch.
But that's irrelevant, Jim. I mean, that was a relevant point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. And it's funny because you're the first person in a long time to say Chick-fil-A. Like Bob Copper always goes to McDonald's French fries with his.
I got away from McDonald's because I've done enough training where I ask people, do you like, and everyone's like, no, like it's a bad example. So I think it's pretty safe to say Chick-fil-A now. I don't use Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm sorry, companies. I'm just saying Chick-fil-A is one that a lot of people resonate with.
Yeah. And your Amazon phrase, your Amazonian, whatever you called it, was like incredible. That was
I made that up.
Yeah.
Heard it here first, folks.
The panel is fantastic. You guys rocked it. I mean,
Thank you guys
pretty well, but I mean, the one thing I will say, Mark, that I love about our industry, everybody shares, everybody helps each other out. I mean, Jeremy and I spent time down in Texas shooting guns with Monument, right? Yep. That was blast.
That was awesome. Yeah.
But and Lynn, she's not in my hometown, but Sam's in York, PA, and Melissa Stiles lives like a block and a half from me, so it's crazy.
No, and so I think that's the final plug. If you heard something today you want to dig into, why don't you go to the last slide? Or I guess the slides aren't up, but you have Amanda from Storagely. You can reach out to SBOA to get in touch. Lynn from Sam, Jeremy from Right Move Storage, and myself, Mark from StorageDefender. Reach out to the SBOA. Find us on the website. We're all here to help you guys. And with that, Jim, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity.
Right, Michaela, I think you got a closing slide for us, or do we have the winner of the gift card, Michaela?
I'm here. Yes, we do have a winner.
Is it me?
I couldn't count you. That's not fair. Our winner of the gift card today is Camille Broom. I apologize if I did not pronounce that. And I don't know if you can hear the thunder in the background, but it's currently storming here right now. So storming in February. So Camille, if you could email us, I've got a little slide here. Just one moment.
If not, Michaela, I have her contact. I was literally just down there this week with them. So yes.
Oh, perfect. So you're just going to email Mari at the SBOA with subject line SSU winner. And then you can pick if you want an Amazon or Starbucks gift card, and she will get that over to you.
Very cool.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll see you at the next Self-Storage Unlocked.
You want to announce who it is? You
the
can announce who it
winner?
is. Yeah. Who's the next Self-Storage Unlocked?
We're going to be doing a session with Scott Zucker, so that'll be awesome.
Sounds good.
We're looking forward to that one for sure. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
The smart experience isn't just for your home. It belongs in your self-storage facility too. Today's tenants expect more than gates and cameras. They want real peace of mind, and so do you while growing your business. That's where StorageDefender comes in. As the pioneer and leader in smart units as a service, StorageDefender delivers 24/7 peace of mind with real-time text-based alerts. No apps or logins required. It's a simple solution that helps tenants feel secure and gives operators a new recurring revenue stream. With StorageDefender Smart Units, you can increase revenue by 10 to 20% per unit, attract 78% of tenants who look for smart monitoring in their next rentals, and across the U.S., 6 out of 10 tenants are opting in for smart unit monitoring. Don't just take it from us. Chris Z, a tenant from Campbellsville, Kentucky, says, "I have rented multiple storage units in different states, and this is the first time I've ever had a motion detector inside the unit. I think it's a great idea and definitely recommend it to anyone storing items. Setup is fast and hassle-free. Just place the magnetic-based smart device inside any unit. No hardwiring required. Manage everything from our intuitive dashboard, and when motion is detected, your tenant is instantly notified. It's smart, reliable visibility inside the unit where it matters most. When tenants feel protected and informed, they stay longer, speak highly of your business, and are more likely to rent again. Give your tenants what they value and gain more in return. Schedule a demo today and find peace of mind that profits.